Dzień dobry, mam na imię Krystyna Kadwijatkowska, and today I want to share with you the books that I got in December, especially during the holidays. Now, admittedly, I wasn't really anticipating getting any new books during December because I am gearing up to study abroad in Poland, which I am so excited for. Um, but because of that, and because I just moved back home ahead of the study abroad, but also because I have a mountain of books already, okay, and it's a lot. I have what you see partly here is a massive bookshelf stuffed with books that need to be reorganized. We're not going to talk about that. Um, and this like little corner situation, but I have a lot lot more books than other of these. And so I wasn't really going to get any, I wasn't going to buy myself any additional books to save money and also save space. But I end up getting a stack of books. Not, well, well, you'll see. We'll break it down. It's a good mix of gifts as well as a couple purchases, but well, let's just get into it, shall we? Starting with books that were gifted to me, and I have to start with perhaps my most treasured stack. As you can see, I haven't even been able to remove the card nor the ribbon, because this is a stack of books, two books that my former boss and office mates gifted to me when I left the research library this past December. The past year, I have worked at my university's research library. I like to simplify things and say that I'm an archivist. It also just sounds fancier. But I worked in the manuscript processing department, which meant that I and my bosses and my office mates, we would, handle the materials that went into the collections that students and professors and scholars alike would have access to. And I worked there for a year. It's weirdly enough is I think my longest running job. Not to say that I jumped job from job, but just circumstances. And it was just also my favorite job of all time. And when I left this past December, my boss presented to me a couple books that they gifted to me, along with a card. And so that's why this stack is just very meaningful to me. It is Brahms. Okay, I will take out the ribbon now so you can properly see it, but it's a good stack. First, they gifted me Bram Stoker's Dracula in the Penguin edition, Penguin Classics edition. Sorry, because I know Penguin also has the cloth bounds, which I adore, by the way. Um, but this is the Penguin Classics edition of Bram Stoker's Dracula, which is honestly, I love Dracula. I love Bram Stoker. He's one of my favorites. Irish 19th century Gothic authors, and um, yeah, they gifted it to me because they one knew I loved Dracula and Bram Stoker, but also two because I actually had the privilege to work on a collection with Stoker's materials, specifically handwritten manuscripts. I know. I'll give you a minute to like be in awe and shock. I know. It was amazing. Um, Surprisingly, not the oldest materials I've been able to hold in my hands, but that's a topic for a later day. And sadly, I asked my boss no, even though she approached me and said, I am giving these to you, she didn't mean that she was literally giving them to me. If only. But Bram Stoker's Dracula. And then the other book that they gifted me was the Portable Edgar Allan Poe, also Penguin Classics edition. Again, who can go wrong with Penguin Classics? and it has this lovely cover. Apologies for the light. I'm gonna have to maneuver that. This is what it looks like up close, and obviously it is just a selection of Edgar Allan Poe's works. I believe poems as well as tales. Ooh, and letters. Wait, hold up. Wait, this is even better. So it's actually several things, and I didn't realize it, and I am now just giddy all over again for this. And observations. I mean, it just it truly has a great variation of his works, and I now I'm all giddy about it. I For those of you who don't know, I am a massive Edgar Allan Poe fan. He is my all-time favorite author, classics and otherwise, as it currently stands. And I collect so many of his books. I have vintage copies of books. I have a vintage copy of a biography about Edgar Allan Poe, so on and so forth. I just have so many editions. When I studied abroad in the UK for a month, I specifically sought to get a copy both in Britain as well as in Scotland. So, the love runs deep. As I like to say, Edgar Allan Poe, my beloved, you also can't see, but I actually have a bust of him on top of this bookshelf. So, you know, again, the love runs deep. The other set of books I was gifted are these two mangas. Oddly enough, also Edgar Allan Poe and Dracula. We'll get into it. But these are two mangas that were given to me as Christmas gifts by a dear friend of mine. He is a old coworker of mine from when I worked at a different library on campus. You know who you are. Thank you very much for these. And let's take a closer look at them. I got into manga. I am admittedly still very, like, much a greenie in my manga journey. I got into manga a few years ago, but it's always been like touch and go with me actually reading them. Um, I don't know why. It hasn't been the manga's fault at all. It's a me problem. Have issues with focus with reading for various reasons. Separate topic. But I've read Angels of Death. I've read the first volume of Orange. I've read the first volume of The Witch Atelier, The Witch Atelier, um, The Garlic and the Vampire. Okay, so I've read a few bits, and I feel like there was another volume one of another that I've read. I know I started another one, but haven't finished volume one. So I still feel a bit new into manga, but nonetheless, I'm very excited about these. The first one he gifted to me was the stories of Edgar Allan Poe in manga form. Oh, the light's gonna. There we go. So this is what the cover looks like. I apologize that it's not entirely in focus. And it includes four? No. It includes four of his tales as well as one of his poems. Personally, my favorite is Mask of the Red Death, but honestly, I haven't met a Poe tale that I didn't like. That's not entirely true, but just go with it. And then he also gifted me Dracula in manga form because why not enjoy a favorite story of yours in another medium? Which honestly, I do encourage that because I feel like you can learn different facets of a story by seeing it through different mediums. And so I am truly very excited to delve into this. These are the books I got for Christmas, though I do suppose there is one more. I got that is a bit of a Christmas present, but we'll get into that. Also, in the month of December, I took a little trip to Barnes and Noble because I wanted to gift myself a book. And that book was the Barnes and Noble exclusive of the third Emily Wilde's novel, Emily Wilde and the Compendium of Lost Tales. I love the Emily Wilde series. I've been reading it with a girlfriend of mine, and when I say with a girlfriend of mine, I mean she has finished it uh, already, and I am still in book two because I am slow and also just drowning in academia. So I'm a wee bit behind, but it's fine. It's fine. We make do. And I wanted to gift myself the third novel. I originally meant to gift it to myself for my birthday, but ended up putting it off. And so December was my time to shine. And so I took a trip to Barnes and Noble because I wanted to get it in person. I wanted to find it on a shelf and I wanted to get it in my hands like same day and not have to deal with shipping costs and they were on back order. So I ended up having to order it anyway, and then I got it. This is the third Emily Wilde, as I said, Compendium of Lost Tales, and it is just so gorgeous. I always love all the covers for the Barnes and Noble exclusive, which I believe are closer in design to the UK releases of the Emily Wilde series. But I love the colors. I love the design. Look at the spine of this one. They're all different colors. I believe the first one is blue. The second one is green. Have it right here, as you can see. And then the spine of the second one is dark green. The spine of the third one is like a nice bright blue. And I unfortunately do not have the first one in my reach, so I can't show that off to you right now. But I can show you this one, and this is the one I got in late December. Well, technically, I got it in January. So, really, it's the first book of 2026. Even better. So, wonderful. Oh, I just realized I forgot to say who the author of the Emily Wilde series is. It is Heather Fawcett, who is, by the way, incredibly wholesome and so sweet. And she has a Substack. I highly recommend you subscribe to it. She will answer reader questions occasionally, I believe. And honestly, she's just so wholesome. And she's such a big, like, scholarly nerd. And I, myself, as a fellow scholarly nerd, love that and just yeah, go check out Emily Wilde and also Heather Fawcett. Like, you will not be disappointed by either. Now, a book I was not planning to get myself, but I saw it at Barnes and Noble. And as any book lover knows, even though you go into Barnes and Noble and you're going to tell yourself, no, I'm not going to get beyond what I intend to get, I am not going to get more books than anticipated, you find another book in your book basket. And for me, it was This Fatal Kiss by Alicia Yajinska. It is a book that has been on my radar, but I apparently have amnesia because I forgot it has Polish folklore influence, which is not only something that is very much a interest of mine, it is also part of my thesis. So I had to get it. I had to get it because why wouldn't I? This is a YA fantasy about a Rusalka, which comes from Slavic folklore, including Polish folklore, and it's even this novel includes a pronunciation guide for Polish terms and words used. And I just, considering my thesis, there was no way I could leave the store without getting this. I didn't I didn't leave without it. I took it with me. And the final book I got in the month of December, which ended up being a late Christmas gift to me from my family, is the Selected Poems of Robert Frost Illustrated. And Robert Frost is one of my all time favorite American poets alongside Walt Whitman. And he does a lot of nature poetry. He lived for a time in Britain, if I recall correctly. And I adore his work, I adore his poetry, and seeing the illustrations is just, oh, it's amazing. I love it. You'll probably hear this crack, the spine. It's a very noisy book spine. It probably could use a trip to the chiropractor. Um, but nonetheless, this is what the end pages look like. And honestly, this, how can you simply not love this? Is just, oh, I am a sucker for illustrations like this. I love ink drawings. I love black and white art. I love colorful art too, do not get me wrong, but just art like this speaks to me so much. And yeah, I absolutely adore this. And even outside of this, I just generally recommend Robert Frost's poems. They're beautiful, they're moving, so much nature imagery, and he does have some that touch on some personal topics, which, you know, depending on things you've gone through, might very much speak to you as well. He covers things like grief and just, yeah. I mean, the his most popular poem is A Road Not Yet Taken, but there's so many other ones beyond that. And that is my December book haul collection gifts sort of situation. I'm just very grateful for all the books, honestly, and I'm so happy with all of them. I'm so happy with, you know, just the meaning they hold for me, and I am very happy to have shared them with you today. Let me know about what books you have collected over the holiday season, if there are any books that you got that you're very excited for, and even if there are any books for this new year that are set to come out that you're eager for, and if you got any books already for the year 2026. Until next time, Papa, do widzenia. Starting with books that were good or context. I am, wow, why am I blanking? Okay, that's enough for thumbnail time. For context, also in the month of December, I took a little trip to take off. I love the Emily Wilde series. I've been reading it with a girlfriend of mine, and when I say that, I mean my girlfriend has, this is a YA fantasy about a Rusalka, which comes from Slavic trip to Barnes. Oh my god, I don't like this wrap up. Cut.